When we hear the words dragon, Cyclops, or mermaid, the first thing that comes to mind is fairy tales and legends. But what if myths are not just fiction, but distorted memories of real creatures? Today, you will learn about 7 mythical creatures that, as it turns out, could have actually existed. And believe me, the 7th will surprise you so much that you will never look at myths the same way again. Number 1. Unicorn. A unicorn is a mythical horse with a horn in the center of its head. In ancient times, unicorns were considered sacred creatures, symbols of purity and innocence. They were rebellious, appeared only in front of maidens, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. In Chinese mythology, there was Qilin, a horned deity that brought good luck. Are they real? Yes, they existed, but they were not what you think. Unicorns weren't horses, they were rhinoceroses, meaning the mythical unicorn was based on the extinct Elasmotherium, a rhinoceros family known as the Siberian unicorn. Like the unicorns they inspired, the Elasmotherium walked on all fours and had a huge horn in the center of its head. However, unlike the unicorn, this rhinoceros was bigger, stronger, and possibly more unpleasant. For comparison's sake, it weighed 4 tons. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near this creature. The Siberian unicorn lived in Eurasia until it became extinct about 39 million years ago. Luckily for the people who lived at the time, it was an herbivore and preferred to munch on bushes. However, like modern rhinos, it could be very aggressive towards those unlucky people who got too close. Number 2. Cyclops. Cyclops, or one-eyed monsters, are favorites of Greek mythology. The word Cyclops literally translates as round-eyed, from the ancient Greek kyklos, circle, and opsis, eye. In different versions, the Cyclops were divine beings, children of Gaia and Uranus. According to one version, reflected in Homer's Odyssey, the Cyclops were an entire people. Among them, the most famous is the ferocious son of Poseidon Polyphemus, whom Odysseus deprived of his only eye. In the Odyssey, Polyphemus lived on an island and devoured people. In the Mediterranean, there are stone structures called Cyclopean walls. The term arose due to the belief of the Greeks of the classical period that only the mythical Cyclopes were capable of moving stone blocks of such a size. According to one version, the skulls of dwarf elephants were mistaken for the skulls of Cyclops because of the huge opening for the trunk, reminiscent of the structure of the Cyclops' head. The Greeks, not knowing that these were elephants, could have taken such finds for the remains of giants. Cyclopean walls do exist. Stones weighing tens of tons without lime. Who built such structures is still unclear. Number 3. Mermaid stories about mermaids. Half-human, half-fish creatures living in the ocean. Myths of tired sailors or reality? According to one version of the myths, mermaids were women who died violently in the water. They sang their sirens, beckoned men, took them into the water, sometimes even saved them. Christopher Columbus even spotted 3 during his first voyage to America in 1493. He described them as not as beautiful as they say, because their faces had some masculine features. Well, the creatures we call mermaids are actually manatees, and their closest relatives, dugongs. Both of these animals are called sea cows because of their enormous size. They are the largest aquatic herbivores in the world. Sailors mistook them for mermaids because of their resemblance to humans and fish. A fully grown sea cow grows to almost 6 feet, 1.8 meters, in length, which is about the same height as an adult human. They have 5 finger-like bones on their flippers, and can turn their necks and stand upright in shallow water like a human. Add to this a fish-like rear end that sometimes sticks out of the water, and you have a mermaid. Number 4. Vampires. A vampire is a character in the lower mythology of the peoples of Europe. Most often a half-dead person, or an undead, or, less commonly, a nocturnal animal that sucks blood from people and sends nightmares. According to Slavic mythology, vampires were pawned dead, criminals, suicides, those who died a premature death, or those infected by the bites of other vampires. According to myths, they were immortal, fed on blood, and were afraid of sunlight. Vampires slept in coffins. They were afraid of garlic. You could tell if you were dealing with a vampire by their reflection in a mirror. As a rule, they were not reflected in it. You can only kill a vampire by driving an aspen stake into their body. Some modern scientists argue that stories about vampires could have appeared under the influence of a rare disease, porphyria, skin destruction from the sun, red eyes, anemia. This disease spoils the blood, disrupting the reproduction of heme. It was believed that porphyria was most common in small villages in Transylvania, about 1,000 years ago, where incest may have taken place. In almost all symptoms, a patient suffering from an advanced form of porphyria is a typical vampire. Scientists also refuted myths about vampires with such a disease as rabies, in which the patient had increased aggression, hypersensitivity to light and water. Number 5. Ghoul, eater of the dead. In pre-Islamic folklore, ghouls are werewolves living in the desert along the roads and hunting travelers, whom they kill and then devour. They also steal children, drink blood, steal coins, rob graves, and eat corpses, constantly changing shape, turning into animals, especially hyenas, and into young, attractive women. According to the tales of 1001 Nights, and the Arabic mythology reflected in them, ghouls pose a danger to the living, lure a traveler to their lair, located in the ruins, and devour him. You can escape from ghouls by force of arms, striking only once. The second blow revives the werewolf. According to the tales and legends of Central Asia, the ghoul is not harmless, lives in swamps and wells, on battlefields. On the latter, it appears together with crows. Fears living people, avoids. Has a terrible appearance, bluish, dead, slimy skin. Perhaps the ghoul is an interpretation of the behavior of desert hyenas. They prowl graves, laugh, hunt at night. Seeing something like this in the dark, a person runs away in panic. From the resulting shock, the fantasy can complete the image seen, turning him into a ghoul. Some modern theories suggest that these are mutations or rare cases of savage psychopaths. Number 6. Skinwalker, Curse of the Werewolf. In Navajo culture, a type of malevolent witch who can shapeshift or disguise herself as an animal or a human. The term is never used for healing or positive beings. In the Navajo, a skinwalker is a shaman who has become an animal, usually a wolf or coyote. He can shapeshift, inhabit the bodies of animals, and even control people. Navajo witches, including skinwalkers, represent the complete opposite of the cultural values of the Navajo people. While native healers and cultural workers are known as medicine men or other positive terms in the local indigenous language, witches are considered evil, performing twisted ceremonies and using magic that perverts the traditional good works of the medicine men. In order to perform good works, traditional healers study both good and evil magic. Most people can handle the responsibility, but some people can go bad or become witches. There are no reliable facts that would prove the existence of skinwalkers in real life. However, some Indians believe in this creature and sometimes even refuse to talk about it. Even discussing a skinwalker, according to them, can bring trouble. Number 7. Kraken. The Kraken is perhaps the most terrifying sea monster ever depicted. According to sailors of the past, this huge, octopus-like creature sank ships and ate their crews. According to legends, the Kraken attacked and sank ships with its powerful limbs. And if it did not succeed, it began to swim in circles until a whirlpool formed, which sank the ship. Is the Kraken real? Yes, it is real. The so-called Kraken is actually a giant squid, Architeuthis, which is huge as its name suggests, but much smaller and less ferocious than sailors claimed. There are no records of it attacking or sinking ships, or even of it being strong enough to do so. The Kraken moved from folklore to reality when the remains of a giant squid were discovered off the coast of Denmark in 1853. Curiously, the giant squid is as elusive as the legend it inspired. It lives so deep underwater that we have limited information about it. What we do know, however, is that they have the largest eyes of any living creature, grow up to 18 meters, 60 feet long, and are often pursued by hungry sperm whales. Weaker giant squids usually flee when confronted by a sperm whale. However, sometimes, when cornered, they fight back, and it is not unusual to see a sperm whale with scars from a battle with a giant squid. As you can see, myths are not always fantasy. Sometimes they are the whispers of history, distorted by time. Who knows what other legends once walked this earth? Do you believe that myths can be reality? Like if you were surprised by at least one creature, and write in the comments which mythical creature you would like to see in the next episode. Subscribe. It will only get more interesting.